her book, Kamala Harris shows us a family line that's very peculiar indeed. According to Jenny.com, Kamala Debbie Harris, born October 20th, 1964, daughter of Donald Jasper Harris, who's the son of Oscar Joseph Brown Harris and Beryl Magdalene Finnegan. From Jamaica, daughter of Iris Finnegan. Strange thing is, the names of the current storms: Beryl, Oscar, Beryl is a storm made primarily with this element of beryllium. This is the structure of Beryl, the crystal structure.
Which turns down to the destruction left behind by Hurricane Beryl, and Janice is following this one from our newsroom. Janice.
Oh, Calvin, as Jamaica is preparing for the storm to hit, we are learning 6 people have been killed as a result of this massive storm.
Hurricane Beryl leaving a path of death and destruction across the Caribbean. The unprecedented storm now with its sights set on Jamaica.
I am encouraging all Jamaicans to take the hurricane as a serious threat. It is, however, not a time for panic. It is, however, not a time for panic. It is a time for us to be very strategic and calculated in our approach.
The powerful storm is making history as the earliest Category 5 storm in the Atlantic hurricane season, with unusually warm waters adding fuel to the storm system.
Hurricane Beryl on the move after battering the island of Jamaica overnight. Faith Abube is live on the ground in one of the hardest hit areas. Good morning, Faith. Hey, good morning to you, Rebecca.
Yes, Jamaica. Hurricane Beryl. Kamala's grandma's name was Beryl. It's just a coincidence. Candace Owens has been following the lines and documenting Kamala Harris's family. And here I'd like to bring to your attention Mr. Milton Hamilton. Notice his name is Milton. Here we have a 2024 Beryl. These are the names of the storms. Alberto, Beryl. Remember, her grandmother's name is Beryl. Then we had some terrible storms that hit America, and another one was called Milton. And as you can see, there's a Milton as the master of ceremonies for Oscar's wedding. So her grandfather named Oscar, right here. Oscar's master of ceremonies, his name was Milton.
The evening update on incredible Hurricane Milton and the extreme threat to people on the west coast of Florida. As a matter of fact, the entire peninsula of Florida and extending up into coastal Georgia and South Carolina is under tropical alerts of one type or the other.
Causing widespread devastation and at least 12 deaths. Milton dropped heavy rain and spawned dozens of tornadoes across parts of Florida. Right now, officials are still assessing the damage as water rescues continue at this house. Has the latest.
We're getting a closer look In North Carolina, we're getting a closer look at how Hurricane Helene changed the landscape of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Webb Wright looks at the devastation and the spirit of survival.
Black Mountain, one of the hardest hit areas in western North Carolina. You can see with devastation like this. And check out the road over here, Flat Creek Road, completely washed out. So for a community with no running water, no electricity, and no roads, officials say we're looking at months, maybe even years before life gets back to normal here. Roads?
We are trying to get the roads open.
No power.
More than likely, they told us weeks that we will see power. Water.
No water.
Water is the most critical thing at this time.
Black Mountain is reeling from the effects of Helene. The safety of the community, the main concern.
Our next step in the process, now that we know where our residents are, is to assess our road conditions. People are still trapped in their homes. We know they're there, we know they're okay, but they need to be able to get out at some point.
Now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning. CBS This Morning contributor Michio Kaku is a physics professor at City College of New York. Professor, nice to see you. Extraordinary seeing Al Gore and Bill Clinton there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get into this discussion, though. But it is fascinating. I mean, lasers, really, to change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far, it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. Judy, go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo-jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam.
So what does it mean for drought areas that need to have rain for crops? And if they don't have them, there's the consequences of famine.
Well, the bad news is if it's a clear blue sky, it's not going to do anything at all, because it only takes water vapor that's already in the air and condenses it. However, for floods, for agriculture, farmers, for people planning wedding parties, football games, you name it, outdoor events and agriculture and flooding and even hurricanes, all of them could be subject to weather modification.
Incredibly interesting, Professor Michio Kaku. Thank you so much.
Okay, which one of you eggheads is in charge?
Hello. I'm the lead egghead, Kendra Wilson.
I've got a fireworks celebration tonight, and they're going to cancel it because of the rain. I hear you have a weather machine that sucks up clouds. Is that true?
You're looking at it. It's a free-floating, gyroscopically balanced, remote-controlled weather containment and analysis apparatus.
What? I don't understand a word you just said.
Well, we call it the cloud catcher. It flies around and sucks up clouds, then brings them back to the lab so we can study them.
Excellent, excellent. Well, kiddies, it looks like our bad weather problem is solved. I want all those pesky rain clouds sucked up by the end of the day.
Oh, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. The cloud catcher is for studying clouds, not for changing the weather.
And I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. Suck up those clouds or I'm closing this university forever.
Well, I guess we could try using it to clear the rain clouds. Just for tonight?
Wonderful! That's what I call scientific consensus. My top hat! Here you go, boss. That's incredible! We'll have the sky clear by sundown.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I'll hang on to this remote. People are going to love these fireworks. And more importantly, they're going to love me. Humdinger Heights! I took the tallest...
Oh no.
Marty Muckraker reporting live with a correction to this morning's weather forecast. Instead of clear blue skies and gentle breeze, it will now be pitch black skies and hurricane force winds. Whoa!
That's a wig?
This just in, I've been lying about my hair.
I'm right behind you, Zuma. I'm closing in on the car. Gotcha! Ow! Steal the suit! Woo, it's the Paw Patrol! Everybody say cheese! Gotcha! Ow! Steal the suit! Everybody say cheese! Now is not the time for selfie.
Trump helped people during the...
Between Kings Mountain and Chimney Rock, North Carolina is the largest lithium deposit in the world. And the rights are owned by Albemarle Global. And on September the 24th, they actually applied for federal and state permits to redirect and reconstruct their mining operation between Kings Mountain and Chimney Rock. So, Albemarle is owned mostly by stockholders, Vanguard and Blackrock Group. Well, guess who the biggest investor in Blackrock and Vanguard is? Douglas Emhoff, Kamala Harris's husband. So, Albemarle is home headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. And when these permits get approved, they're proposing $250 billion yearly in mining. Douglas Emhoff's stock holdings just went up substantially. And guess who is the final approval for the permits? That would be our lovely VP. So, as I said, I'm going to post about 6 or 7, maybe 8 pictures at the end of this video, and you can see for yourself. It's a disgrace. The loss of life for money. So please, I beg you, if you have any heart and any love for life and liberty and the wrongdoing that's going on right now, please like, comment, and repost this to everybody. Everybody. Thank you.
See, Albemarle's mine to market strategy. Blackrock Capital. Charlotte, North Carolina. The secret lies with Charlotte.
For all of these EVs, we will need lithium-ion batteries, lots of them. Electric vehicle growth will be responsible for more than 90% of demand for lithium by 2030. But lithium is also in our phones, computers, ceramics, lubricants, pharmaceuticals, and are essential for solar and wind energy storage.
Lithium actually is not a major component of the cost of batteries, but it's like the blood in your body. It's the chemistry behind how lithium-ion batteries work. It remains the common denominator of all the battery technologies, even that we're looking at now, the next generation batteries.
The price of lithium is soaring, and establishing domestic supply of lithium has become the modern-day version of oil security. But today, the United States is far behind, with only 1% of global lithium being mined and processed in the U.S.
We do have a lot. The challenge is of lithium for our needs.
This vital mineral in rechargeable batteries has earned the name white gold, and the rush is on. This mineral in rechargeable batteries has earned the name white gold.
Of lithium here in the state of California.
But they often face steep startup costs and opposition from environmentalists and locals.
This is supposedly the largest lithium mine in the world, and we have to do this right. Getting to the battery and the electric cars does not seem to be green to me when you're destroying a beautiful mountain. This mine wants to run for 40 years and destroy this area.
CNBC Explores Element. The United States holds almost 8 million metric tons of lithium, ranking it among the top 5 countries in the world.
Bessemer City, North Carolina, that was the original production location in the U.S. You had some of the early companies, which were Foot Mineral Company and Lithium Corporation of America. And those two companies had built their business on producing lithium from spodumene.
So what does lithium have to do with Beryl? There's an element called beryllium, a black rock. They say white, gray, metallic, but it looks kind of black. But look what the element is right before beryllium. Lithium. Lithium, white gold. Lithium comes from the ancient Greek word lithos, which means stone. What's beryllium used for? I'm gonna call it grandma beryllium. It's used for windshield frames and other structures in high-speed aircraft and space vehicles. It's also a skin irritant, and when it's inhaled, can result in dermatitis, pneumonitis, chronic pulmonary disease. The first signs of serious or life-threatening acute beryllium exposure may involve difficulty breathing, chest pain, and shortness of breath. Sounds a lot like COVID. So in conclusion, as above, so below, Kamala Harris seems to have a lot of stones, jasper, beryl, and Oscar. From storms to science to the elements to the atoms. We even have a Oscar and Iris in the elements chart. Oscar, Iris, beryllium, lithium. You can't make this stuff up.